He left the room for a short time. What was that moment like when you walked into his room and saw he wasn't breathing?
Oh my God. I was stunned in the sense. I mean, initially, you know, what happened here? What happened?
Guilty of the crime.
What happened saw Conrad Murray sentenced to 4 years jail.
4 years.
The coroner found that Michael Jackson died from acute intoxication of Propofol, and that his body had enough Propofol in it that would be equivalent to someone having major surgery. How did that get into his body?
Well, this takes an education. And it has,
a simple explanation is,
very simple.
If you didn't put it there,
I did not give it to him.
Okay, so if you didn't put it there, who did?
Michael.
And again, I think the Deputy Coroner has pointed out that that is absolutely absurd.
No, it's not.
It would be almost impossible for him to come out of his sleep, inject the Propofol and be unconscious and indeed no longer breathing in the 2 minutes that you say you left the room.
One of the good things about the properties of Propofol is that it is so quick to act and it is so quick for the effect to leave you.
In 2 minutes, he's come out of his sleep, he's injected himself with Propofol that I'm assuming is handy to him to be able to do, and then he's gone back to sleep and blow me down, he's died. While you were not there.
I am saying that Michael Jackson died, unfortunately, from an accident based upon his actions.
Hand on heart, you don't believe that, do
what?
you? You made that up. That's just not true.
That's not the case.
Look, if you are his friend, you would not tell that story.
I was not present when Michael Jackson took matters in his own hand. Michael Jackson, as you have realized now, is a drug addict.
I've got to be honest and say a court didn't believe you. Jurors didn't believe you. The judge said this was medical madness, that this was a homicide case, not even malpractice. Michael Jackson died because you killed him.
I did not kill Michael Jackson. I met Michael Jackson in his state, lifeless or not. I met him in a state that I did my best to help and to survive, to revive him.
Yikes! Talk about blaming the victim. Not only isn't there any remorse...
The case against Dr. Murray was that he hadn't monitored Jackson properly, and phone records show he was busy taking personal calls, texting and emailing. He even made a call to his girlfriend from inside the ambulance, rushing Jackson to hospital. Was that on a call that you could leave until later?
I mean, I'm giving instructions, they're doing CPR. I can basically say, you know, this is going to be so explosive. I'm telling you what I did.
But surely that...
I'm telling you what I did. It did
surely
not
that's like, what? Wouldn't you do that afterwards?
It did not prevent me.
You have Michael Jackson on a gurney here. Dr. Murray's behaviour that day concerned many, including the fact that he'd failed to tell paramedics he'd given Jackson Propofol. Why not?
Because Propofol was not an issue based upon the treatment that I had given Michael.
But you told the paramedics about the other drugs. Why not mention that as part of what's occurred in the last few hours?
Some of the other things that I mentioned to the paramedics, the place was really, it was horrible.
But Propofol is the one drug that you probably would mention.
But Propofol had no effect because I understand Propofol, I use Propofol, and if Propofol is totally gone, there's no reason...
As it turns out, it was the drug that killed him. That's what the coroner found he died from.
But it was not related to what I had given him.
Paris, I too love you as a precious father loves his own child, and I always will.
Remarkably, despite being condemned for Jackson's death, Conrad Murray made this call from his prison cell to Jackson's daughter, Paris, after she tried to commit suicide.
I can tell you're not doing well, and I don't know if there's anything I can do to solve your pain. but I wanted you to know that I am here for you.
Why did you do that?
Because Paris is very close to me. The children are genuinely close to me.
As I understand it, Paris's deep distress was based on the loss of her father. And given the family is of the opinion that you are responsible for Michael Jackson's death, wasn't it totally inappropriate to call and leave that message for Paris?
No, it wasn't. Again,
Insensitive?
no, it wasn't insensitive. I did a lot of compassion and care for Paris.
And I just wanted to say I love him so much.
Conrad Murray still believes he was Michael Jackson's only ally. And even in death, he maintains he and Jackson have a close bond. Do you speak to Michael?
Have I spoken to him?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yes, I have. The last time Michael spoke to me, this was the day that when the verdict came for the civil trial. Michael touched me. He put his hands on my shoulder, and he touched me and he spoke to me. Michael speaks to me. He does.
What does he say?
It's too emotional to go into at this time. Just too emotional.
What do we make of a man who slept with a dolly and had a urinary bag attached to him? What do we make of that?
Michael. I'm going to be I'm fair and I'm open. And let me just say that Michael is not a perfect man, by far. Michael has a huge dark shadow. Michael slept with dolls, yes. Is that normal? No, it's not normal. But if you understood the history of Michael as a child and the things that he has encountered in life, and you're willing to listen, you probably wouldn't judge him.
Do you believe he's a pedophile?
I am not prepared to answer that question. Not now. And I'll tell you that the reason why, because my interview with you is quite candid and honest, and I would not make up or fabricate anything. But at this
As a
time,
friend, as somebody that was his closest friend, I would have expected you to say absolutely not.
well, sometimes expectations are not always satisfied. But one thing I'll tell you is this. I may have formed an impression of an individual based upon certain things that I have seen or encountered.
The reason I'm pressing you is because by saying what you're saying, are you deliberately muddying the waters here? Because that's what you're doing. You're leaving it unclear about your thoughts. Is that fair to Michael Jackson? Or do you have something that you know?
I'll never be unfair to Michael, and I'm not here to destroy Michael. You've asked a question, and I'm not prepared to answer it. Not now.
I have to say that obviously you're having to get on with your new life.
I'm happy to be free.
Conrad Murray has only known freedom for the past month. Is it hard being in the public now?
It's not hard to be in public. You know.
He will forever be known as the man who killed Michael Jackson.
Okay.
A conviction he's now appealing, an historical fact he refuses to accept. What responsibility do you take?
For his
relation to-
death?
Yes.
None.
None. Absolutely nothing.
Nothing. Nothing that I gave Michael Jackson should have killed him.
To see an extended interview with Conrad Murray, go to the 60 Minutes app on your iPad or iPhone.